We live? D Lee, what's up, man?
My dude, what's happening with you?
Man, how you been, brother?
Pretty good, man. Getting over this little cold, sinus, whatever going on. But in our business, you got to thug it out.
You gotta be tough. Remember on Paid in Full when he asked Ace Boogie, was he tough? You tough, right? You tough, right?
Folks get shot every day, B.
Man, I'm so excited, man. Oh man, complete hoops, man. Complete hoops.
This is it, man. This is a brainchild, man. We've been talking about for some time. Complete hoops means exactly that. You and I have talked about players having the resources, not just on the court, to become better basketball players. But you being a college coach, you having the background that you have, you being who you are, you understand that becoming a better basketball player on the court involves a lot of stuff that's not on the court that you got to be good at in order to maximize whatever talent you have. And we've talked about it for years, where you got a player right here with amazing talent and somebody who might be a little bit under them. But when they have the social graces, the ability to talk to people in public, look a man in his eye, shake a hand. Then we have them with great academics, right?
Hmm.
Then we have them
Yeah.
with great leadership and team skills. You take somebody who might have lesser talent and they become a better package for college recruiters. So Complete Hoops is really about that and tapping into some of your knowledge, being the master of monetization and teaching people how to really grow that social media, which now is so impactful with what we are going to talk about tonight with the NIL. So, social media is a gateway that you have mastered, along with all of the other things. If you've mastered on this online space or in this online space, I think Complete Hoops is going to be something that we're going to talk about for hundreds of years, man. Honestly, as being a staple of a movement that really helped players decide right the path they want to take in this basketball space. Everything isn't about playing. Some of this is about coaching, refereeing, teaching, right? Events. We want to show that there are different pathways, and that's what Complete Hoops is really all about.
Okay. Well, look, I'm super excited about our first episode, man. Season 1, episode 1. We got a very special guest, our boy Tyrus Thomas. Let's get my boy Tyrus Thomas in, man. Let's bring my boy TT in. What's up, TT? What's up, baby? What's up, big
How
dog?
y'all fellas doing, man?
How you doing, brother?
Gino,
How you
D.
Slow,
Lee.
doing?
slow clap or fast clap, Tyrus. What you want?
It don't even matter. I don't even need no clap, baby. I'm just blessed to be here.
Good deal, man. We happy to have you, brother.
Man, I'm
Yeah,
glad
yeah,
y'all
yeah.
fellas thought of me.
For sure, for sure. So look, man, I want to welcome everyone to our very first episode of Complete Hoops. I'm Coach Gino, and we're about to start strong, man. Joining me today, we have our guy Dorian Lee, a pro and NBA skills trainer with experience across every level. And we're bringing in a serious guest for our debut, former NBA player, LSU legend, and current college coach at the University of Wisconsin Green Bay, Tyrus Thomas. Clap it up for my boy one time. Clap it up for my boy TT. All right.
Appreciate y'all,
I want to
man.
give a I want to give a before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to Ballin Down South Sports Network for supporting us, and
Amen.
also to B-Ball 101 Elite Player Development, where we focus on elite player development every day. Today's episode is sponsored by Hand in Your Face Shooting a fantastic shooting tool to help shooters improve their focus and accuracy on and off the court. Check them out at handinyourfacebasketballproduct.com. All right, let's get right into it. Today we're covering everything from NIL's impact on recruiting to high school shot clocks, shooting mechanics, and more. If you're a true hoop fan, stick around. We're just getting started. All right. Let's go pay our bills. Jump right into that hand in your face commercial. Shout out hand in your face. D, how important is it shooting with a hand in your face?
I just ain't never seen no hands. I was above all of it. So you know, I just
The hand in your face basketball product. This concept originated from the fact that 80% of shots that go up in a game are contested by a defender closing out and putting a hand up. Here's some key benefits to training with our product. 1. Helps players train game situations. 2. Forces players to fully concentrate and focus on the rim. 3. Gives players an extra challenge while training. And most importantly, improves a player's shot-making ability over defenders. As the competition gets better and better each day, wide-open shots are just not realistic. So that's why it's important to train out of your comfort zone so that once you get in the game, it feels easy. Many D1 players like Darren Harris at Duke University, Sean Moore, Chance McMillan, Xavier Lee, and Brian Knight train with this product. Build your shot to a point where defenders can't bother you.
All right. So let's kick it off with name, image, and likeness. The first question is going to our guest, TT. All right, Tyrus, from your perspective as a former player and now a coach, how has name, image, and likeness changing the college recruiting game? Is it create new factors for players to think about when choosing a school? And what advice would you give to young players looking to navigate name, image, and likeness without losing focus on their game?
I think it's twofold. I think there's a gift and a curse to it.
Mm-hmm.
So like you could use my situation, right? If I went to school in the name, image, and likeness era,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy for me to say, oh, I would have got X, Y, Z. But you also got to remember that I wasn't really highly recruited and I redshirted, right? So it was it realistic for me to go looking for something?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that that's the thing that bothers me is the entitlement. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so like everybody thinks that they're entitled to. So first off, if it's name, image, and likeness, what value does your name, image, and likeness hold? Right? Because
Mm-hmm.
even if we want to just talk about name, image, and likeness, then you have to understand that some people's brand has a higher value than others, and it's not necessarily the talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so it's twofold. And
absolutely.
I think that it has kind of not kind of it has gotten a lot of kids off track, and the main thing isn't the main thing anymore, right? Basketball has become secondary to like even just in the recruiting, now it's a money game opposed to what situation is best for me. Kids are making decisions based on, what they can get right now, opposed to what's the best situation for my legacy, what's the best situation for my trajectory, what's the best situation for, my own personal career or my development. And I think that, for me, it's just one of them situations where, I'll never tell a kid, hey, don't take they offer you 300,000, you got to take it, right? It's like certain
Mm-hmm.
situations are life changing, but I think more than not, we can talk these big numbers about a select handful of college athletes when you're talking about the thousands of athletes. So more than not, I mean, I think a lot of people are living in a false reality or misconstrued information when understanding what's really happening. I think more people are thinking that they're just gonna get tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's just not realistic in most cases.
Gotcha. All right. What about you, D? What's your take on it?
My take has been the same for shoot 10 years. And then, the last few years when that SB 206 was signed in California and we knew that this was going down the pipeline.
What you
Um,
mean SB 206? What you talking about? What's
that's
the
what
SB
Gavin
206?
Newsom, that was the first bill in California that was signed on LeBron's show. Um, when it talked about that was the precursor to the NCAA ruling. So that SB 206 kind of paved the way. California always kind of the progressive state. They were the first to write it into law. So that's kind of the form in which the NIL took shape with the NCAA. So since then, I've talked about the same stuff. What Tyrus just hit on is something that we got to talk about. I'm going to ask y'all a question. Why is Michael Jordan worth $2 billion, $3 billion? Why is LeBron worth $1 billion? Why is Magic worth?
Name, image, and likeness.
No, I'm going to go back to what you said, Tyrus, because it was more powerful than I think you even knew. Because basketball was always first.
Right. And they kept the main thing, and everything else built off of that.
Everything was built off of that. So when we talk about this, what we're doing with NIL right now, and that's why I'm a big proponent of NIL deferred compensation, where we talk about trust funds, where we talk about requirements that, I want this money. I want the $2 million. I want the 2.5. But I got to complete my degree. I got to go through a series of financial competency lessons or structure, some level of structure with financial competency in order to get that money. Because if not, all we're doing is handing over and creating lottery syndrome with youth athletes, right? You know, most lottery recipients are broke within 7 years of winning. And I'm talking about big time money. I ain't talking about little change. I'm talking about that 300 million, 400 million, billion, and you still broke because the mentality didn't change. The understanding of money didn't change. So I'm real big on deferred compensation. But one of the most powerful things that Tyrus talked about was the fact that I can tell a kid to turn down 300 if it's going to cost them 100 million on the back end. And you can take 300 and go to the wrong school, and it costs you 100 million on the back end because you're not concerned with fit. So what Tyrus won't say, and I will say, because he in the college coaching ranks, he can't say, most of your legendary coaches, the reason they out the game right now, the Jay Wrights and all of them, they're out because they don't want to go to the table. And the first question asked is, well, how much y'all got for me? Not if
it's a part of the discussion. They got to get used to it. It's a part of the discussion.
Well, I think
first thing. That shouldn't be the first thing that comes out of your mouth.
So like I mean, for me, just personal, just my own. If that's the first thing that come out your mouth, the main thing ain't the main thing for you.
Thank you.
Right? So when it get hard and that kitchen get hot,
bingo.
Right? And that competition and you got to get up. And so one thing that I would like to see, especially if they're going to do where the schools collective, right? The school should be able to set parameter, like, because here's the thing, man. I'm going to always be a player's coach, guy, person. I'm always advocate for players, right? First. But what I don't want these kids to I had to learn some hard lessons. Gino, you know your daddy used to thump me across the head. Like, but let them learn now that it costs when you late to practice. Let them learn now that it costs when you miss something. Right? Because if we gonna pay them,
you got to give them equal responsibility.
And I'm gonna tell you, especially for my black boys, because we gotta teach them the accountability if they don't get nothing else past this, because that ain't life gonna be hard for you, right? And so I don't want them to think that this is like, I don't think because ultimately with the NIL the way it's shaped, you getting something for nothing.
Absolutely.
Right. So we could say, oh, well, the school's making millions of dollars and which is why I like the deferred payment, because now we can see how much, in essence, your name, image, and likeness brought to the school, right? Like, so for instance, when I was in school and I had this grievance, I didn't necessarily want to get paid by the school, but shit, my red shirt year, they didn't sell number 12 jerseys in the bookstore. The year I played, they sold a whole lot of them. And the year after, they didn't sell no more. Right? So I just wanted to cut it at. That was because my name, image, and likeness, the jersey was selling. You see, you see what I'm saying? Because when you talk about, and I know people gonna look at me crazy when I say this.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Football, right? LSU football, Florida football, USC football. You're gonna have big names, but it don't matter who you put in them jerseys. Them stadiums gonna sell out every Saturday.
Yep.
Right? Like it's a thing. Rupp Arena, they gonna sell out. Like it's just certain, like a lot of these established, like these, because it's the same as you look at the NAIA schools and you got D3 schools, they gonna sell out their 4,500 seat arena every home game. Right? And like, so we're in essence, we kind of teaching the kids that they gonna get something for nothing. Because even with the league, you can't get something without proving that you can do something.
So here, listen to me on this, Tyrus. So this is why this is so important. In the future of NIL, the NCAA was actually on its last leg. It was done.
Right.
But guess what they did? Like all smart businessmen, they say, you know what? We gonna let it run amok. We ain't trying to regulate it, anything. We just gonna see how this plays out.
Because we can always come back and clean it up.
And now, guess what? You got players, UNLV quarterback, quitting in the middle of the season, 3 games in, 4 games, because he didn't get the payment. Right?
Yeah.
So we got all of this stuff happening that would have never happened ever in college basketball or football or anywhere. Here's my thing, right? You gotta pay close attention to congressional impact or congressional insertion in certain sports moments when we talk about steroids in baseball, right? Congress is going to jump into NIL at some point. Trust me when I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
And guess who they're going to make the regulatory body to govern all of the NIL stuff? The entity that's already there, the NCAA. So the NCAA just played themselves back in the mix without doing anything, by doing nothing.
Yeah.
So they step back. Now guess what's going to happen? Because now we dealing with, in this uber sensitive culture, in this uber safe haven culture, we want to make sure our kids are healthy, and none of this is going to be healthy when kids are making money, not turning out how they want to turn out, losing the money over a course of 3-4 years. Situations are actually going to be worse than when cats weren't making money when you start looking at this long term. Everybody's not going to invest correctly. Everybody is not going to have money, and that's why I was, I talked to Gino about Quinterly. When Quinterly was like, he made enough money, NIL in college. And I don't care if you made $9 million, you really only made 4.5. And that 4.5 can actually sustain you for a lifetime, but not at the level of living that many of these kids want to live at, right? And it also needs to be not a source of income, because it's not cash flow. So they got to have something coming in that's going to help them be able to preserve that wealth created, right?
Okay. Did you see the deal with?
Point.
Did you see just to piggyback on what you're saying? Did you see the deal with Flajay Johnson? She was buying land. Did you see that? I got a graphic.
Yeah, I saw that.
But see, so I was gonna touch on Flajay and
that graphic.
Flajay actually. So the thing I like about Flajay, is that she actually has NIL deals. Her money, so she's not in the category of the kids who are getting paid from the school. So if she leaves LSU and goes somewhere else, she's gonna make the same thing. If she stops playing basketball, she's gonna make the same thing because she has real NIL deals. It's not and so for me, I think it's an easy fix. If you just allow real endorsement deals,
There you go.
everything else is off the table. And now if kids can't, she has a Puma deal. Puma's not paying everybody. Everybody not talking to Puma, and everybody not expecting to talk to Puma because you got to be realistic to talk to Puma, right? Like they know they can't but she has that. Juju Watkins, she has a real Nike deal. Like the deals that she has, if she leaves USC, she'll still have her name, image, because it's her name, image, and likeness. It ain't connected to where she is.
Yeah.
You know, so I think even when you talk about the investments, I think it's just more about the mindset, right? Like it's two different mindsets. And that's what people don't. So a lot of people see Flage and they think that that's the NI. Nah, they in two different. She's working, right? She's working. Her
She was a
mom's
million
working.
strong.
Yeah, like
million
her
strong
people working.
followers
Like
coming in.
they're working. Like they're doing multiple things. Like she's in the community. She has a personality. She shows herself in multiple lights and not just as a rapper, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so the things that she's doing to build her brand, that's if you want NIL, that's what you need to focus on, because now going back to what you were saying, D. Lee, what Flage has created with her NIL is sustainability.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Like she's
Absolutely.
created sustainability with her NIL situation.
Talk,
Most people are
speak
looking to
on it.
just get a hit, right? So when you just
Speak
if you
on
just
it.
getting
Speak
a
on
hit
it.
from the school, that's not sustainability. She has multi-year deal. Take the don't worry about the dollar value. She has multi-year deals off of her name, image, and likeness, right? And I think that people don't understand that hers is a testament of things that they were working on before she got to college, right? And
She
so
was
you
born
can't
into this. She
compare.
was born into
There
this.
you go, man. A lot of
She was
people just
born
want
into this.
it overnight, and it's like, nah, because what we know is she can sell tickets. Why? Because she gonna have 200 little girls crying after any game they go to, wanting to take a picture with her. So guess what?
Yeah.
If the school if she wanted to strong arm the school and say, I want this, she can show her valuation.
But you also
Like
see too. You
D,
also
D,
see too, Tyrus.
let me jump in with. Let me go ahead, D. Go ahead, D. Go ahead.
This is my last point, man. We also have to understand.
Go ahead.
I continually talk about not what you have to do in order to get money, it's who you have to become. And if you notice Flage can make statements, but she's never a perpetual victim about anything. If you listen to her, she's never, they don't like me in the world against me. She understands how to still be Madison Avenue marketable and still hood appreciated, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of folks spending a lot of time wanting to be on one side, but your marketability wanes when you can't cross platforms. She's got the ability to cross over. And that really is ultimately going to be the difference between her and hundreds of other athletes, is their inability to be more than just the person throwing the ball in the hoop. You gotta be more than that. So that was it. My bad, Gino.
No, you good. So real quick, my boy, so Ace, did you guys hear about what happened with Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper? Well,
I was
they're
blown.
both.
I was blown.
Okay. So what? So check this out. So Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper are both wearing Nikes at an Adidas flagship school, Rutgers, which is a massive blow to Adidas, and it could start the beginning of something interesting between schools, athletes, and sponsors. So what do you guys feel about that? Like when you were at
Did they
LSU,
do that?
TT, did
Is
y'all
that a
have to wear
game?
Nike?
Is that in a game, or is that just
That-
like practice?
No, they're
That's
gonna
what
be
I
wearing
was gonna
Nikes the
say,
entire
Tyrus.
season.
I'm
No,
saying
but it
that's
ain't
a
the entire
that's
season yet.
a scrimmage. The scrimmage
That's the little.
season ain't start.
But when the season starts, are they going to wear Nike? Like, can they wear Nike? Wear
That's what we
signed
gotta
shoes?
wait and
That's
see.
why I'm at. I don't think they can.
You don't think they can do it? You don't think they can do it?
Nah, because if that's the case, Flage will be wearing Puma.
Pumas, but we don't know.
Well,
All right,
I mean,
okay.
now if it's doable, but Nike gonna have to pay that fine that
thank
Rutgers
you,
get every game.
thank you,
So
thank you.
Okay,
it's
there we go.
doable.
There we
And so the question is Nike gonna pay that fine for them every game that they play in them? Because they could play in them if Rutgers if Nike gonna pay that fine.
But wouldn't that be right in line with what blew Michael Jordan up?
Yeah.
I mean, so now
Yeah. Yeah.
how much money y'all want to spend, Nike?
Absolutely. Now, especially
I mean, because at this
contractually,
point is big bank take little bank. This ain't really like nothing congressional. It's just big bank take little bank. If I can afford to
Mhm.
pay the fine, it is what it is. Because the only consequence to doing it is the fine. So if they gonna pay
I
the
would love
fine,
to see the contract though, Tyrus. I want to see the contract because what if Adidas has an arbitrary number they can set, right? Like they can just set a
I
punitive
mean,
number.
it's something in there, but whatever it is, they gotta play. You gotta pay to play.
But what
Yeah.
if they choose that number? Whew. You see what I'm
Gotta pay to
saying?
play.
Yeah.
What you want to do?
Yeah.
So
Hey,
this could be huge for Nike
it's
if
gonna
they
be huge.
look at how much I'm spending, what type of impressions will I get? Because it's all marketing. They're not gonna look at it as a fine. They're gonna look at it as
Nah,
marketing
right,
dollars
right.
if they get the attention that they actually want. But I'm like you, Tyrus. If they ain't getting the
But
attention,
yeah, but they also, I think in that realm, I think they can make themselves susceptible to a major lawsuit, some type of tampering, because they both the
yep.
same entity, so they know what those contracts look like. They know what, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm pretty sure that they gonna get their call and they rep gonna tell them to go and take them off.
Okay. Well, look, let's
If they
close
don't,
out.
this
Here,
gonna be
here,
huge though. It's
Yeah,
gonna be huge if they
it
don't.
is. It is.
let look. Here's my final take on name, image, and likeness before we jump to our next sponsorship. It's changing the way college teams are being built. I understand the money, but the way you build the college team is shifting the entire recruiting game. You know, smaller schools with good name, image, and likeness opportunities might actually compete with these big name programs. And also, coaches are looking at players not just for their skills, but also for their marketability. So it's changing the way that college coaches and universities are building out their teams, and it's here to stay, and it ain't going nowhere. So these coaches got to get used to it. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna go back to our hand in our face sponsor, pay our bills, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about why won't Ben Simmons shoot the basketball, man? What's going on? Okay, what's going on? Why you won't shoot the ball? What's up, man? Why you won't shoot the ball? Look at D, man.
The hand-in-your-face basketball product. This concept originated from the fact that 80% of shots that go up in a game are contested by a defender closing out and putting a hand up. Here's some key benefits to training with our product. 1. Helps players train game situations. 2. Forces players to fully concentrate and focus on the rim. 3. Gives players an extra challenge while training. And most importantly, improves a player's shot-making ability over defenders. As the competition gets better and better each day, wide-open shots are just not realistic. So that's why it's important to train out of your comfort zone so that once you get in the game, it feels easy. Many D1 players like Darren Harris at Duke University, Sean Moore, Chance McMillan, Xavier Lee, and Brian Knight train with this product. Build your shot to a point where defenders can't bother you.
All right, so let's talk about it. Why won't Ben Simmons shoot? We all know he's capable, but for some reason he just won't let it fly. Maybe it's mental, maybe he's overthinking, but at this point, just one shot will be better than nothing. If he could overcome this, his game would open up so much more. And right now, he's like a puzzle missing pieces, overthinking everything. He has the jitters. Um, Tyrus, you took the first one. I'm gonna direct this one to Dorian. Why won't Ben Simmons shoot the basketball?
Because Ben at one point, back to what Tyrus said, he stopped letting the main thing be the main thing. He was too busy, doing all of this other stuff. And I'm not just saying this. I'm not saying dating the Jenners or the Kardashians and all this stuff. But bro, at this point, he's getting to that space where he's being honorary. It's almost like what we saw with Russ at one point when people criticize, and it's almost like you wall up and you like, I don't have to do that. See, I impact the game in a bunch of different ways. The game of basketball, bro, when you first picked up a ball and you went out to the park, nigga didn't do no defensive slides. He grabbed the ball and he threw it in the goal. And he kept throwing it in the goal. And he kept throwing it. He got obsessed with it. Wasn't nobody out there doing no box out drills when they first went. Nick, this is the basic tenet of basketball, bro.
Hey, bro.
Bro, I'm just saying we gotta stop with this. But man, people do other stuff. They help the game in other ways. Draymond ain't run out when he first started playing and started fouling the air. He was out there by himself, and he took the ball, and the first thing you ever did with it was try to toss it in the goal. The game is predicated, and people will always argue with me on this. Offense wins, right? Defense makes the difference with offense. So at the end of the day, you got to have more points. Defense is what creates that separation. When you can put points on the board and you can stop others from putting points on the board. But points is what wins games. And at the end of the day, man, it doesn't matter about IQ. Because in reality, and this is my last little piece, Ben Simmons is a little bit of Draymond, right? When people keep harping on how high he got a high IQ. He got a high IQ, but when your skill is limited, that means your IQ, you have to go to the next level. So the second best decision, the best decision is to shoot the open shot. But if you don't have the skill to shoot, you're going to the next level of IQ, which makes you're lowering your IQ by not being skilled.
Yeah, so well, you're not making the right. You're not making the right. A part of having a high basketball IQ is being able to read the defense, being able to make the right play, make the right read, and shooting sometimes is the right play, it's the right read. And if you're not doing that, like you just said, it's lowering your IQ. So yeah, I absolutely agree.
And people will argue that that is a high IQ to know you can't shoot. The point is, man, don't show me another workout video during the summer, man, ever in the history of life. In the history of ever.
Yo, bro, got bad workout video, bro.
Ever show me no fadeaways and no fallaways and no running through dunk. I don't want to see none of that, bro. Everybody hitting the summer.
I'm gonna say this before I let TT go. I'm gonna let TT have the final word on this. I think shooting is as much as mental as it is physical, and for Ben, it seems like it's a confidence issue. Like even the best players can hesitate sometimes, but that can build up. As a coach, I would try to get him back to the basics, building fundamentals step by step, so he's not thinking about it as much. Sometimes you just got to break it down and rebuild it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my take on it. What's your take, TT? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it got to be something mental, Yeah, I don't know. I ain't been watching this season, but I just know enough basketball to know if you ain't shooting, you're not taking that shot. Like you say, sometimes the game dictate where you gotta shoot the ball. Like, it's like whether you a 30% shooter or 60% shooter, like sometimes like high IQ, I have to shoot this basketball even if I'm not a good shooter because the game has told me to. I got good rebounding position. You know what I'm saying? Like just certain
Yeah.
things, but
Absolutely.
it's just,
So
I
look,
guess it must be mental.
look, that's a great segue into like what. So Ben Simmons is struggling with okay, should I shoot the ball? But we got guys like Mikal Bridges and Campaign who have completely transformed their shooting form. I think we got the video on that. Check this out. Just check this video out. So we got
He's always
I
shot
call
like that though.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's how
but it's still
campaign shoot.
but look in the
That's how he
background.
shoot.
Look at Look at Mikal Bridges in the back. That isn't his normal form. He changed his form. He wasn't shooting like that a year ago. His numbers
Yeah.
are down because of it.
No. He was 2 of 3 last game. Had a big game. 2 or 3 from the 3-point line. Preseason, he didn't shoot well. I want to
Mhm.
see. I'm real big on the course of a season because Bill Cartwright
I was gonna
used to
say Bill Cartwright.
take a hand off the ball, and he took his hand off the ball in the air, and still one of the better shooting centers of all time in mid
But
range.
look at
Like
this kid shooting from the left side of his face. Come on, you're not starting the shooting form out that way. Like
He right hand.
how
Listen, man. Listen. I mean, so here's all right. This is why I hate
one
when
size fit
people.
all.
Yeah, I hate no, not that. I hate when people use pros as
okay
templates
the measuring stick?
or because man, at the end of the day, these are some of the best athletes in the world. And they got a
Mhm.
lot of stuff that you can't teach. And a lot of stuff is unorthodox. And if we just being, man, I done played with guys who led the league in minutes and didn't work out in the summer. Right. And
True.
it's like, you ain't gonna sit here and talk about it, but these are the type of guys that this is what you have to be in the league. Like a lot of people don't talk about that, but
Mhm.
like these dudes are just different. So like he was good enough to develop a shot like that and still make it to the league. He ain't gotta change it. It's like certain things, dudes, and you get to such a high level where certain things have to be manipulated certain ways to get what you need to get, right? And so it's
Mhm.
like I don't really know, like, cause I ain't seen enough of Buddy in the back to
Mikal
Mikal
Bridges.
Bridges. I don't know what his shot, but that's how Cameron Payne always shot. He came in
Yeah.
shooting like that.
Well, I actually
You know
like
what I'm
what
saying?
Mikal
So,
Bridges. I like what he did. I think small adjustments can change anything. Like it can help you just go up a couple percentage points, but not completely. Um, you know, breaking down your shot in the middle of the season.
and
I like
yeah, but
campaign
see,
shooting
like,
form
so
because it's unique and consistent. Like it's like his shooting form is super unique and consistent. Like he's consistent
But
with
let
is
me
unique.
say this though. Let me say, do you know what Cam is career NBA 3-point percentage?
What is it?
37, which
probably,
is
Damn, that's
that's
pretty good.
37 is bordering on elite in the league.
He's
yeah.
shooting
That's elite.
37% from three with that form. That's pretty. Yeah, don't touch it.
And that's
And
the thing, like,
he had a couple of seasons. He was 36, 44, 37. He was 39. So, he's had moments. And
Yeah.
Mikal also, like what Tyrus says, Mikal does so much other long, goofy arm stuff. He like Inspector Gadget. But he got length defensively. He versatile offensively. Sometimes it's not just the shot. And
but
I'm with you, T. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I just get tired of uh people thinking, just like when you talk about shooting, everybody thinks shooting only means 3-point shooting. Ben
yeah,
Simmons
nah,
don't even
that,
have to shoot a three. If Ben had a reliable 15, he might, man, if Giannis had a 17-footer, he would dominate. When I say dominate, I'm talking about championship level dominate the league. He would have a
Mhm.
stranglehold with just a 17 or 18-footer.
no question.
What
You
about
know,
shooting fundamentals? Like what about your shooting fundamentals? What's your shooting fundamentals?
What I learned, right, and I've been blessed, like I said, to coach. You know, I got NCAA record holders, ACC record holder, about 17 school conference record holders, right, that follow kind of the same blueprint, but they all got different forms, right? Evan was the New York Knicks record holder. He shot 41% that year, set the season and single game record that DiVinzio broke last year. So he's second place on the list. But Evan, it's the same stuff, but it's Adam Smith, Evan got two great shooters, two different forms. You know, Adam got almost a funny, like up top hitch, but always, he has never shot under 40% in Europe from the three-point line, ever. Right? Shot 43% his senior year at Georgia Tech. And he's a small guard, 6 feet. So to shoot 43% at that size is real. For me, Gino, I always say, man, if you can get the shot off, number one, multi-directionally, like I can only go right because the way I shoot it, then you need to tweak your shot. But if you can go left, right, back, either direction, forward and over, I ain't touching your shot. You can kick it in. I don't care.
Yeah. yeah. I
But
agree.
if you can't get it off in all those situations, then you need to change it.
Okay. What about you, TT? What's your take on it?
Yeah, nah. I'm just like him. Like, so how he was talking about this guy that shoot the, like, again, we're talking about, and that's why I don't use these guys as references, because that ain't nothing you teach. But he's so elite at that. Like, I'm not messing with that because he's elite at that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he figured out how to be. And so
and
that's what people don't realize about guys at the high level. Like, some things are unorthodox, but they figured it out like that. Like, and it works for them. Like, and it goes, it's not shooting, but I was seeing a guy, he was teaching defense. And he was using like the cross step that Drew Holiday does. And I'm like, nah, man, you can't teach kids to cross their feet because they're going to get bust up. You talking about a pro who watches hours of film, who's mastered, like, you know, like, you get to the point to where I know how many steps I could take. I could do this blindfolded. It's like dancing now. I know if I cross, like, and so it go to skipping steps, right? Like, these guys are doing unorthodox things because they have mastered, not do it kind of good, but mastered, right? And so I think people forget that.
That's a good point.
Like, I think people forget that these guys have mastered the basic things that we trying to bypass, right? So for shooting, I think it's just more of, like he say, if you could get it off, now let's just get the reps. So, like, even for Mikal, he's a long guy. He might knock on wood. Something might have happened in his arm, or so he might got some injury. Like, it's multiple reasons why you can alter, you know, like, especially when you got long arms, right? Like, because everything ain't compact. So something might have happened. I could pull my shoulder out. Now I gotta mask it with, you know, like, it's multiple reasons. So I can't really, you know, if it work, it work. Like D said, if you can get it off.
I'm gonna say to your cross step point, if you look at, all right, and I'm gonna say this, man, like, so I've been in this space for so long, and I've developed from beginner to pro. So I'm not talking about I'm taking photo ops with people because I worked the Nike camp, or that I came in with an agency and I'm throwing lobs to cats and people say, man, you don't work with. No, people sought me out. They've trained with me. I've had some of the best WNBA players in the history of the game. I've had some really, really strong NBA players and pros throughout the years. What I always have argued is I get sick of this new generation of training is this is what Steph does, so this is the rule now. It's not the rule, it's his rule. So when people ask me the question, Tyrus, but how many shots I need to take in order to be great? You know what I tell them? Hell, I don't know. And they said, what you mean? I said, based on the way your neurological pathways are, the way that you wrap myelin sheath around motor neurons, it's different between between you, me, and Gino. So it might be 28 shots for you a day. It might be 128 for somebody else. It might be 1,028 for somebody else to feel comfortable that they can replicate a form. But the key is you got to get in the gym so you know your number.
And you got to know your number,
Your
right? Like
number.
you got to
And
know
so,
your number. You got to know
so
your number.
Well,
and you know I'm
hold
gonna
up.
get lynched for saying this, man. I'm gonna get lynched for saying this. I love Kobe, but Kobe always was talking about I took 1,000 shots from here, 1,000 from here, 1,000 from here. Kobe shot 47%, 46 his whole career, never shot over 50%, never shot over 35 for the 3-point line. I think 34 was his best. Bro, maybe, just maybe, as great as Kobe was, you don't always have to do the one thing to improve at the one thing. Sometimes you can take less shots and you can work on another aspect that can get you cleaner looks, because pros with clean looks are going to make more shots. So it's not just shooting that makes you a better shooter. It's sometimes the things around shooting, how clean, the depth of your fakes, how athletic, how the variable width of your stances in triple threat. Instead of being uber wide where you can't really get separation, you change the variance of your steps. So now you got more load and explosiveness out of it. So that little thing right there can get you a wide open look. So it's not always about.
I ain't know where you was going. I ain't know where you was going with that Kobe thing. You brought it home. You brought that home. You brought that.
Yeah,
You
no,
brought that
man,
home.
because you be ready. You be ready.
I
You
ain't know
be
where you was
ready.
going.
Hey. He said Kobe. He said Kobe. Hey man,
I ain't know
let me
where you was
finish the
going.
thought. Damn.
All right,
Kobe.
look.
He said Kobe.
Speaking of goats, let's talk about the top 5 shooters ever. Look, I'm gonna give you my. You don't have to give me your top 5. I'll give you my top 5. My top 5, right? All right. Here go my top 5 right here. It's tough, but I'm gonna go with Steph Curry, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Larry Bird, and Klay Thompson. These guys had consistency, range, and most importantly, clutch factor. And for me, it's all about accuracy, whether they can knock down the big shot under pressure. And that's my top 5. What's your top 5? What's your top 5, D-Lee? Who you going with?
Steph. I say Steph. I would say from a style of shooting and ability to shoot in all of the ways, I would say Mahmoud. I would say, man, I'm gonna go to some
Look at
old
that
school
boy
Andrew
looking. That
Toney.
boy look. That boy looking. That boy looking at you. You said Mahmoud. His eyes is squinched up. Glasses
I
that
just want to
fogged up.
know
You
where you
speaking
take. I want to
foreign
know where you
tongue.
taking off of him. We didn't say
Anybody?
scorers. We said shooters. We said
Anybody?
shooters.
Anybody?
Hey man,
D-Lee, he tell him pick
bro,
one. Pick one. You say you gonna put Mahmoud. Who you taking out? Pick one.
it's really
Whoever.
only one on the list that's really in Mahmoud class, and that's the one everybody compare him to, and that's Steph.
That's Steph. If you want to talk about man, and I just like I that where the basketball heads at, man.
And the only reason I
I just
say this,
want to know.
Gino, I get it. Era is everything. He proved it at LSU when he had the ultimate green light to shoot. When you get to the league and it starts to be a lot of that pecking order and contracts and you need to do this, it's a different era. So he never had a chance to shoot in this level, this era. I think Ray Allen today is 14 times better.
Even and that's what, and so that's why I don't get, so like even when you say who's the best shooters, it's like let's just go by the numbers, right? Because when if you start to break stuff down for real, man, I think people forget about eras and rules, right? Like you wouldn't like, I mean, because in all honesty, Rashard Lewis making 500 million now, right? Like
Easy.
if you put Rashard Lewis in this
Mm-hmm.
era.
Yeah, that's a
Right,
great point.
you put Dirk in this era. You put a Glenn Rice in this era. Right, you put a Jamal Mashburn. I know I'm SEC. I'm a real basketball head. You put a Jamal Mashburn in this era,
Dude, I'm gonna mess
you
with you
put
even
Mash in
more.
this era.
You put a Rex Chapman
Come on,
in this
man.
He's
early,
not in this.
like
He's not in that class though. He's not in this class.
He
Rex
not,
Chapman
but
out in
it,
this.
it changes. It changes. It changes the game. It changes it changes what Reggie Miller does. It changes what Ray Allen. Come on, man. Like it just I think that people forget that the rules have changed and the game has changed so much. And like I don't talk about it a lot, but I can remember when they took the handbar out the league when I was playing. Right. And the
Oh
reason
wow.
was because
No, talk
the
about that.
reason was
How did the league change? Talk about that. I want to hear
because
about that.
it was right after I think it was the lockout and this new CBA, right? But that was one
Okay.
of the things in the like because what it does is it scores more points. It speeds up the game, right? When I can't slow you down, everything is sped up now. So if they were calling fouls when Ray Allen was dribbling the ball down the court freely, like what you think? I mean, without anybody being able to push up on him. So it's just I think that people forget like the game, the rules have changed for the game to be played like it is now. Right? Like Rashard Lewis was stretching the flow before it was heard of. You know what I'm saying? Him, Dirk, like the things Glenn Rice was doing back in the 90s and early 2000s was crazy.
Okay.
So it's like, and the game wasn't played as free. You wasn't having this high volume shots like this. You know what I'm saying? Even it changes Robert Ory's role. It changes if the game is played like this. It changes Robert Ory's role. Like I don't know what's better than Big Shot, but he got a better nickname if he played in this era.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's just how I look at it. So I don't really get into that, you know, because it's so many things that
and the
go into
game,
that.
man, the game looks crazy right now, man. I've watched 5 games so far this season, man, and it's literally it's plug and play. If I watch Detroit, they look like Cleveland. I watch Cleveland, they look like Sacramento. If I watch Sacramento, they look like Golden State. Everybody is playing identical. Houston looks just like the rest of them. This league has always bothered me, man, because it is a copycat league at its grandest, man. It's always about what is trending now, and we got to match that. Versus saying I got a style of play. That's why I still like old school college ball. You had the Princeton offense, then you had UNLV running Rebels, then you had Georgetown more defensive oriented, and it was a matchup of styles, right? Now I do know the NBA is still about entertainment, but the viewership was still high in Utah when they were running pick and roll with Stockton and Malone. The viewership they sold out every game when they played. Fans will see beauty in winning. Period.
Yeah.
They want to be part of a winner. And so just watching it, man, it's no way I should go into a game and both of y'all coaches, so correct me, right? I'm a sofa coach. At the end of the day, ain't no way you should be going into a game saying we're gonna take 43s. If I don't have 43s available, why am I seeking out 43s? You play the game. You
Analytic
don't
told
play
him
Because
that.
you have a 26 because you have a higher chance of winning if you take more threes and if you take and make more threes than the other team.
Who says you have a higher percentage of winning? But
The Celtics just shot 63s and on
that's
opening
one
night,
game, man.
and
That's anecdotal.
they just won a championship last year, Dorian. Where you been? They just won a championship.
They
They led
won.
the league in
They didn't
threes.
shoot 63s on the championship run.
Okay, they didn't shoot 60 a night, but they shot the most. They shot the most in the league, Dorian. You shoot more threes, you're gonna win more
But I
games.
guarantee you, they also had. If I looked it up, I bet you they got the most mid-range buckets because usually the champion also had the most mid-range buckets and probably was top 5 in rim finishes too. They're always more balanced. My point is this: the game, if you notice, MJ might have taken 7 threes in a game, and the next game he might not have taken any. Because of the scout, they were running him off the line. So what you gonna do? Step back? You gonna force the three because you gotta shoot the three, or you gonna take what the defense
not
gives
forcing
you?
it. No, I see what you're saying. Nah, not forcing. I see. So
Yeah,
you saying
but
you don't want to
we're
come into the game
forcing
with
So
three.
like one thing that I don't like, and I've seen it around ball everywhere, is that, and it's because the analytics tell you that the mid range is not a high percentage shot.
Not efficient.
Well,
Yep.
I can show you on anybody film that the mid range is where you're gonna be the most open on the floor. Nobody plays defense on the mid range. If I get by you, I'm in the mid range. You got help defender covering up in the paint, right? If I come off a pick and roll, I'm in the mid range. If you over help and I cut, I'm in the mid range. Like, so it's now the question is, when did we get away from the work and start just trying to do what's easy or highest percentage, right? Because to me, it seems like we're getting away from the work and everybody's trying to do what's the best or the easiest, or that DeMar DeRozan is one of my favorite players. And I thought he made the game so easy.
Oh man,
I thought he made the game so easy because of the mid range, and the mid range allows you, one, to keep the defender honest. Because now if I blow by you, I can't wait. I can't wait on my buddy down there under the paint to clean it up. I got to get back. Right? It keeps the defender honest. And now it lets, if you can make the mid range, you can play the game at your pace. You can't speed me up. You can't, I ain't rushing to get nowhere because I'm efficient everywhere.
And then you become a better rim finisher because now you get to the mid range, you slow up, the big starts to ease up. Now you blow by. How do you think Steph scores at the rim? If Steph was a three and layup guy, man, he wouldn't score. He ain't athletic enough at the rim. He get all that beat.
What analytics don't show you is that those things happen like that because you got scouting reports, right? So like you say, now we know you could finish. If they know you can't finish, they ain't gonna close out to you. If they know you can't hit the mid range, but if they know you can, now it opens up your game, right? It give you because I gotta come out. Well, he could close at the mid range. He beat my guard. I gotta step up because he could hit that. So even if I'm right, so now and so I think that we have gotten away, like he said, we it's just basketball is becoming one dimensional now, right? Yeah. And it's not a game of skill and wit anymore,
or chess.
Right? Like it's not it's not, and the kids don't know how to play. So I was gonna piggyback to with the league, and you're gonna see it now because we putting out a bad product. The kids don't know how to, and so I made a post about it. If you look at like carpenters, right? I feel like, and I think a lot of guys don't say it, I feel like this generation of kids are more skilled than us. So they can frame a house better. They can frame better than us. They can do electric better than us. They could do plumbing better than us. They could do foundation work better than us. But because they ain't grow up on the job site and they never got it out the mud, they just went to the tech school and paid their way to get education. They don't know how to put the house together. You see what I'm saying? So like they got the best framing. They got the best framing. They got the best electric. They got the best plumbing, but they can't build a house. They can't build a house because they don't really understand what it takes to make that house work and functional. You know what I'm saying? Like they got the pieces to do it, but they don't know how to put it together. And so like, I think and that's why we seeing, like everything is looking the same because they don't know how to really put it together.
Yeah. And the sum of your skill doesn't equal having game. People think the sum of the parts equals the whole. Not in basketball. You can be a great passer, shooter, dribbler, and if you can't put it all together, you ain't no baller.
And that's what and so like, man, when I talk about kids skipping steps, I think it's different for basketball, and people don't realize it. Basketball and soccer, but even we could separate the two. Basketball is the only sport, the only team sport that's really team sport. You play both sides of the ball and you're required to do everything. Everybody got to do
Yep.
everything. Everybody
Yep.
got to play
Yep.
defense. Everybody got to dribble. Everybody got to shoot.
I
Everybody
gotta
got to
shoot.
pass.
Thank you.
Everybody got to defend. Everybody got to do everything, right? And so when you just put these kids in the train, they lose the play factor. You have to develop that. Like, you have to understand how to play. You got to know. So what's happening is these kids don't know how to play when the ball not in their hand. They not doing defense at all. Like you say, you're not paying nobody to teach you how to slide. You're not going to the park working on those defensive slides. And you're not going to your trainer. Nobody's going to pay their trainer and not touch a ball for the whole time. They're not doing it. They're not doing it because they don't value it enough, right? And so in turn, they're not learning how to play, do other things. They don't understand the value of a rebound. Right. So you don't see people who just like, we grew up, they had some dudes who said, man, I can't shoot, but I bet you I go get every rebound. Right. Or the dude that came to the park who couldn't do nothing but play defense. Right. But guess what? They always was on the court. You was picking them up and you ain't want to play against them either. Right. And so when you miss those lessons and you miss those experiences, I think you miss the essence of basketball, because you really got to be able to interact and engage and have instinct. In baseball, you could be on a baseball team and never talk to none of your teammates, and y'all could play well together. Football, the same way. Soccer, you got to communicate a little more, but basketball, nah. You got to have that instinctual feel. You got to learn to read.
I said it before, man.
You know what I'm saying? You got to have them experiences. And when you don't have that, when we take our kids out of that and we just want them to have all the success immediately, man, you killing them.
I'm telling you, man, I wrote my book about this. The book, everything in the book is what you are talking about. The my baby can do no wrong syndrome, right? And the name of the book is Could You Be the Reason Your Kid is Trash? Is the name of the book. And so
it ain't a reason.
It's Could You Be the Reason Your Kid is Trash? But it's 8 keys to maximizing your young athlete's potential. And so we talk about everything that leads up to building confidence. And so I always talk about, people want to be, you got to be the number one first grader, second grader, third grader, fourth grader, fifth grader. You got to be number one all the way to being number one. It ain't going to happen. That's 1 in a trillion that's going to be number one their whole time. That's the select few. Most of them going to be in adversarial positions. And if you look how stuff plays out, I'm always talking about your blue chippers after the fact. We spend so much time in America identifying the blue chippers. Where I have made my money is me developing the tier under blue chip that became blue chip after the other blue chippers were no longer blue chippers.
That's where it's at. That's where it's at. That's where it's at.
That's the tier.
That's the sweet spot. I tell people all the time, that's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot.
So look,
that's it.
So real quick, we got to go pay our bills, and then we're gonna come back with our last topic. All right. All right. Good.
Jamal, what's wrong?
I had a bad practice. My coach said I need to work on my skills.
Well, if you want to sign up for some extra skills, we can sign you up for some extra skills. You want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me do that.
Created history, it made me a lot. He tried to diss me and it don't fox. We call him toxic cause they gonna chop. Took her out of violence cause of pop. I run it like Nike, we got it on lock. Cardiac, I'm the boss man in a suit with no tie. I can't be sober, I gotta stay high. Put me some syrup in the counter that's dry. Riding the special like Bunny and Clyde.
All right, man. Good job today, man. Way to work, y'all. Way to work.
Hey, coach.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I seen your website. I want to sign up for your training.
Okay, for sure. You ready to break some ankles? Some ankle breakers? All right. You left-handed or right-handed? Okay, let's do it, man. Go to genoskillstraining.com today. Sign them up and use promo code BALLER and get 10% off your workout.
All right. So look, if they hoods on for this one, man. We rocking these hoods. Everybody put their hoods on for this one. Last topic
We
of the
hooded
day.
out.
Everybody throw your hood on for this
Oh
one.
hell, what you finna talk
This
about?
is TT time. We finna let TT close us out for this one, man.
Oh hell, what happened?
Last topic of the day. Your boy JB Bickerstaff, the head coach for the Detroit Pistons, is getting more strict about what his players are wearing in practice. Last week, Bickerstaff has prohibited the Pistons from wearing hoodies up during practice. While teams may allow their players to wear hoodies while going through practice, Bickerstaff says he wants to instill an old school mentality during games. He said, "You practice how you play." Now, watch this. His star player, Cade Cunningham, said, in school classrooms, a lot of the times, teachers say, take off your hood. So it's about the same thing. Listen, man. I don't know. No hoodies, no jewelry on the, like. What are we doing right now? TT, I'm gonna let you go first on this, man. What are your thoughts? What is this coach doing? What's going? Is he overstepping?
I'm
I
with
mean, is
it.
he going to
Nah, I'm
what?
with it. I'm with it.
What? I
I'm
thought
with
you
it.
was
Cause
gonna
you
be on
can't
the
hoop.
other
You can't
side of it.
because you can't hoop. You can't hoop like that. You can't hoop
Thank
with
you.
your hoodie. Like you practicing with your hoodie on, you don't have full peripheral vision. You ain't got like we can start there. If you got your hoodie on, you ain't got put your hoodie back on. Now look to your left and right.
Yeah,
You
you
ain't got
can't see it.
Keep your head still. Look to your left or right so you can see the defender coming
Oh, I
out the
can't see
side,
it. I
or so
can't
you can
see
see
it.
the man cutting. Right?
I
Like
can't
you.
see
So we
him.
gonna start there. But then too, I played for JB Daddy in Chicago. I played for Bernie. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So one thing that's missing from basketball now, dog, is culture, right? So like you letting, so again, like because of this, all right, this one I'm finna hurt feelings. Basketball
Uh-oh.
has been taken over. Basketball has been taken over by the coulda, woulda, shoulda beens and the motherfuckers that's living through their kids, right? Youth basketball has been taken over by people who do not understand what it takes to be a pro, right? Youth basketball has been taken over by people who should not have no skin in the game and should not have no authority to develop anybody's child. Youth basketball has been taken over by people who have no intentions to develop the game of basketball, but to only rake in a quick dollar. So the reason why I got a problem with that, because I had to ask, man, why you think you could come to practice with pajamas on? Like, what world are we living in when you think you could go hoop at a high level with pajamas on and a hood on?
Man,
Right? So at
bro,
the end of the day,
bro.
at the end of the day, and the reason why I feel JB is because shit, they gonna get rid of me when they feel like it anyway. So at least what I
Thank
could
you.
do
Thank
is
you.
teach you how to be a pro for real. At least what I
Professional.
could do as a black man is teach you how to be a man and how to be a professional. Right.
Be a pro.
And so I
I
feel it
got
because I know the bigger staffs and I know how
you.
they coming. You know what
They
I'm
ain't
saying?
playing.
And some of these things, just personally, like some of these things, it took me a while to understand why his daddy used to do me the things that he did me or handle me the way because he knew how the other people was looking at me.
Absolutely, bro. But see,
Right.
we
And sometimes we forget because we get that paper. We forget who we are and where we
no.
stand in the struggle. Nah, so at the end of the day, it's a lot that go into that. You hear the whispers. So I probably hear how they talk about y'all with the hoodies on. So we ain't doing it.
Oh,
It's
I
a
see
lot
where
that
you're
go
going.
into it. You see what I'm
I
saying?
see where you're
It's a
going.
lot
Yeah, I
that
see
go
where you're
into it.
going.
We always
Yeah.
quick to I want to do what I want to. Nah, man. You know what I'm saying? Like They probably was talking smack about it in Cleveland, and he heard the whispers on his way out.
Yeah.
Right. So I got one for y'all now. All right, I'm gonna show you. Right. And so it's always bigger than what we think, man. So I'm with him. Like you can't play with your jury on. It's
Yeah.
practice. It's dress
Man,
rehearsal.
we watching Alabama. We watching Alabama right now with diamond chains under they jerseys, with
Yeah.
Lambo trucks in the parking lot in Tuscaloosa, and they can't beat Vanderbilt. This
Come
game
on,
ain't
man.
about talent. This
Come on,
game
man.
about discipline. This
Come
game
on, man.
about
Discipline
discipline.
must rule. Discipline must rule.
And what we keep what
Shout out
what
to Chuck
what
Carter.
we've always what me and you done always argue about, Gino. I get it. It's always two factions. It's the old school faction, and then it's new school. Everybody keeps, man, you got to understand, we got to be in the middle. There has to be rules. There
We
has
gotta
to
have
be
rules.
something that we adhere to. It can't be I make the money and I play when I want to. No, this is business and contractual, right? You have a dress code in an office. You have a dress code if you going out. OSHA makes you wear safety gear when you're on a work site. If you ain't got a hard hat on, they will fire you or fine you. You can't do certain stuff. But once we get into this big money environment, we feel like I can do what I want. Now, go look up the number of actors that's been fired from movies, who have been replaced on movie sets because they were difficult. Even if you a draw, it doesn't matter. And what we doing now, we setting our kids up. Why do you think, and we talking this real talk and we can go after this, man, but why do you think the suicide rate is going up at this point? With all the technology, with all the counseling, with all of this stuff, why is the suicide rate among young people going up?
Cause when they hit
Because
the real world, they realize that they can't do what they want. It's hard for them. They can't. It's a mess because we didn't let
and
them
it's
do
the
what they want.
world doing it to me. It ain't me. It's them
Yeah,
not
nah.
liking me.
All right, look.
It's the most ridiculous thing.
All right, so look, we're going to end on that. That's a wrap for our first episode of Complete Hoops. Big thanks to Tyrus Thomas and Dorian Lee for dropping knowledge. Another big shout out to Ballin' Down South Sports Network and B-Ball One-on-One Elite Player Development. And of course, big thanks to our sponsor, Hand in Your Face, Shooting Aid. Check them out for your shooting accuracy. Thanks to everyone tuning in, and make sure you catch us next time as we break down the game from every angle. Until then, keep grinding and keep it complete. Let's roll.